So before we get around to discussing open access publishing specifically, I'd like to ask each of you a broad question to set the context. COVID 19 highlighted the need for the entire community, researchers, publishers, governments, funding and scientific bodies, all of them to come together and figure out ways to urgently deal with a major global crisis together. So, all of this needed changes in the way research was funded, conducted, published, communicated, and acted. So, what, in your opinion, was the most important lesson that emerged from this experience in terms of areas that need most attention when you're working with, when you're trying to deal with a crisis like this? Alison, your thoughts first on this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I think one of the things that came out very early on was there was a clear recognition of the urgency of the crisis, right? I mean, here in the US, we were seeing bodies piling up outside New York hospitals. I mean, it's just something that doesn't happen here. And I think together that brought, key stakeholders in the system, especially funders and publishers, together and quickly recognized that the old ways of publishing simply weren't going to do in this scenario. And so I think one of the key lessons was that the research was just moving and happening in such a different way. Researchers were posting data in real time and collaborating across the globe. And so the traditional way of publishing papers and taking a few months, if we're lucky, for review and publication just wasn't going to work. So I think there were two things that were really key. One was accelerating the publishing of papers, but I think equally importantly was a shift to sharing information in real time, whether it was sharing data as it was coming out of lab, whether it was publishing null results immediately so people didn't get lost down rabbit holes, whether it was sharing preprints. We saw a shift in the way in which research was being shared in real time. And I think that's one of the critical things that we need to learn from to deal other crises, even a arguably more slow burning crisis like climate change.
Jacob, your views?
Oh yes, I was in China when COVID first came out. I remember getting lots of emails from everyone because we had the first of the world's lockdowns. Yeah, I just remember this, at the end of January 2020, and we've also noticed that there is just such a rapid speed of science communication, research communication, and it's our journal actually, even though we are a subscription journal and a hybrid journal now for many years, we've actually had we changed a little bit in how we operate. We're partnered with the International Society of Zoological Sciences, which makes us a society journal. We took our profits and we paid for open access fees for some papers that we were considered to be really important. And so we took an initiative of helping to make open access more possible, and including making special issues open access. And we've also noticed the number of preprints that have come out, and the authors will let us know because when we do our plagiarism checks, we have like almost 100% text overlap. So they let us know, oh, we published in the Bio RXIV preprint server, which is the host preprints in biology. So we just noticed that research just was shared much faster, and we wanted to encourage this. And you're lucky if you can get a paper published within a couple of months. Open access. If we compare open access papers versus the papers that are not open access, because we're a hybrid journal, open access papers get a lot more citations and a lot more downloads as well. So, I mean, it's definitely the future is open access.
Right. Thank you, Jacob. Harini, what according to you was the most important lesson that emerged from COVID?
I think for the first time, one of the things that strikes me about scholarly publishing, especially in a digital setup, is how little of digital there is. Okay, if you look at it from the outside, you understand that it's still mimicking print from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and what struck me as this fascinating thing was that it went truly digital. Uh, Data sets got getting shared, results getting shared, prices going up. Okay, research being put out there without worry of people laughing at it or taking it down as a public good, science as a public good, and I think that was fascinating and that was inspiring. And the second thing, which is very interesting, especially we were working with the government of India at that point of time with scientific research, looking at how do you take this COVID information not just to people in terms of precautions, but to doctors and nurses, and is the way resources were put in disseminating the information not just to other scientists but to public at large, okay, to dispel fear, to dispel fake. And the way the entire ecosystem got together to kind of, I mean, kill fake. There was a lot of fake news, but it got drowned with the amount of work that was being done by the scientific establishment, whether it be scientists, whether it be funders, whether it be governments, whether it be anybody in that system, to kind of talk about what is valid, what is right, and what works. So I think that was seriously very, very, very impressive, and I hope it continues.